as well. Okay. Like we were discussing in our previous class, so there are some important topics that everybody should be aware as a part of our consulting journey. So it's not just about the syllabus or the content that we are going to cover. Beyond the content, there are many other things that we should be aware. So if you look into the content, there are very few things which covers in a content, but that may not be sufficient for anybody to successfully sail through your SAP consulting journey. So, okay. Okay. So in that case, let's understand exactly what it means, those important topics. Maybe towards end of the session, you can also clarify any other doubts that you have it as a part of this. So how to start your journey, whether it is going to be helpful or not, or what are the other things that you're supposed to be aware. Only then you can take a careful decision. Okay. So whenever we talk about SAP FICO journey, first of all, so there are multiple things like I've been always telling you. So now let's look into them one by one, what exactly they are supposed to be. So let me start sharing my screen as well. So one moment.
Sir, can you please share your screen and we can
Yeah,
able
I'm
to
just
see your
starting it.
screen?
I'm just starting it. Just a second. Just allow me a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah, okay.
One moment. I have to disconnect again. There is some problem.
No, it's visible.
Yeah, just allow me a second. I just need to include sound as well. Otherwise, sound won't get recorded in the video. So I missed that option. So I'm just adding sound as well. Now you should be able to see my screen. Can someone confirm me if that is fine
Yes,
now,
yes.
right? So I'm sharing my Excel screen where you will be able to see the topics that I'm going to update it. So just give me a second. Just a second. Sorry. Okay. So let's get into them. So whenever we talk about, there is a fixed content wherever you go, you can easily see the content in online content as well. Anybody talks about FICO, there is a fixed content. They may talk about from enterprise structure, then it goes all the way down, like your various business process are like a P2P, R2R, O2C, then your fixed assets, taxation. This will be your fixed content. Beyond that, there are many things like I was discussing yesterday. There is a lot of documentation requirement, and whenever there is any customization required, which is very high in any industry, not the standard product of SAP that any organization get, nobody would be interested to use as it is. If it is going to be used as it is, there is no requirement for many SAP consultants. Maybe one consultant is more than enough in one company, right? So people will not be more interested if that is the case. Generally, there will be high customizations. Customization is nothing but a person who has that knowledge is going to work on all the customization, right? So whenever there is some customization required, so our experienced consultant will pitch in and will analyze actual requirement and will make changes according to their requirement. First, they will understand the requirement. Then they will work with ABAPers, which is a technical team. or SAP directly to make those changes. Then they will test that thoroughly. Only then they will release that to production system. So now, as a consultant, when you are going to become a consultant, what we need to understand here is, so what are those things that I should be aware even before you start the course or during the course, whether I am getting those concepts, how to customize if there is any requirement. Do I know the approach if I wanted to customize it? This is the most important. Whenever you wanted to customize, it's not just about you receive an email or some ticket and you understand and fix it. There is a lot of documentation requirement even before you start your work, during the work, and after completing the work. So we are going to focus on all such things beyond our configuration, that whatever you see outside the world. So generally you see only the configuration wherever you join for a FICO. Generally they cover in a 45 days or a 60 days the course content they are promised. For sure you will go through the content, but anything beyond that may not be in their bucket list to cover. So my idea here is to cover all such things, whatever you don't hear outside, what you don't get through online content. Okay, let's get into this and see. When I listed down the important topics, this is going to cover our content and beyond the content, the course content. Let me know those who already attended course or has some knowledge about this FICO or working as FICO consultant, whether whatever I have listed is at least sufficient for you to become a successful consultant or not. Okay, so let's see that what exactly we have it today. So I'm just going to start the important topics to be listed down here. Okay, so let's see that the first thing, whenever you talk about it, you need to be aware what are the major changes between ECC and S4 HANA system. Now, yesterday I was talking about the need for S4 HANA system, where SAP is coming up with a new version of SAP, which is S4 HANA, which is already started, and majority of the companies are adopting S4 HANA slowly. So now next few years, there is a high demand for S4 HANA. Whenever there is S4 HANA, it's not that all the companies are straight away implementing S4 HANA from nothing to S4 HANA or legacy system to S4 HANA, right? So there might be majority of the companies already in ECC system. What if they want to migrate from ECC to S4 HANA? So you should have ECC functionality as well, ECC functionality understanding as well. Only then you will be able to manage S4 HANA migration project. There is, you can't expect a companies will give you the training on ECC. Whenever you claim that you know S4 HANA, by default, they would expect you also know ECC. You can manage any functionality in ECC equally that you are doing in S4, right? So now without struggle, we need to understand the differences between ECC to S4 HANA or ECC to S4 HANA changes. This is the first thing I would say we should be aware whenever we start learning SAP FICO. By the time you complete the course, you should aware majority of the changes in FI and CO modules, what you're supposed to know. I'm not worried if you are not aware about what are the changes ABAP related, what are the changes related to SD module, what are the changes related to FSCM related. If you are able to get, well and good. Otherwise, at least FICO 2 areas, you should be well aware about the changes when I compared with ECC versus S4 HANA systems. Okay. Then the next thing comes into picture where you need to be aware. So whenever we're done with this, there is a lot of things. Any interview that you attend, you will come across lot many questions. So out of that, there are some important questions. Any interview that you attend, for sure, your interview will not end from the list of questions that I'm going to list it down, including ECC to S4 HANA changes. I'm going to list top 10 questions, for example. From this, for sure, you will have 70 to 80% of the questions, which means 7 to 8 questions for sure will be covered in your interview. So think about it. Any interview will last anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes. In 30 to 45 minutes, how many questions can interviewer ask? Whether you can't answer single question, they can go up to 20 questions or max 30 questions, or they will understand if you can't answer anything, where you are standing, whether they can continue that interview or not, right? If you are able to answer, think about it. They can ask a question in 5 seconds. You can spend at least 30 seconds to answer something. You cover up something, you know something, and you recollect and you try to explain. If you are good going through these topics and can explain at least 2 to 3 minutes per question, think about it in 45 minutes, how many questions they can pose, how many questions you can answer and manage it. Let's understand that what are those important questions you will get during your interview questions. I mean, during any interview, any MNC interview or any startup company interview that you are attending for FICO position, there are some questions for sure you will get it, which is like your FIMM integration. They will ask you one or the other question from this topic from FIMM integration. Particularly, they might ask you, what is FIMM integration that you have handled? Or can you please explain the P2P cycle with transaction types and the T codes? What happens in each phase? Why you do it? They might ask you for sure. And similarly, you might also expect FISD integration. These two goes hand in hand always. So because SAP is all about multiple functional modules where we will be supporting with multiple modules uh, for a business requirement. Whenever a business is using multiple modules, that has to be tightly integrated. As a FICO consultant, we also should be aware how to integrate with other modules. So for that reason, they would try to test your understanding levels where you are standing about FIMM and FISD integration. It's not about you by heart something and get through the interview, but it is all about understanding the concepts. What happens if there is something goes wrong? Whenever there is any new challenge comes up during integration or after integration or before integration, as a consultant, will you be able to solve it or not? That's the level of knowledge they would be checking with you. And there is another important thing where you can expect, let's say, the document splitting functionality. Document splitting is one of the most important functionality in S4 HANA, with which you will be able to draw a financial statements or any reporting requirements at a whatever the level organization wants. We'll discuss anyway in detail about these topics in upcoming classes. But for now, understand document splitting is something very much important for we to know uh, as a part of our FICO consulting journey. Then you also understand, you also might pose very common question about WRICEF objects. What is WRICEF objects? Each letter in this, I'm putting in a capital letters. Each letter stands for some object. So we call it as WRICEF objects otherwise. Each letter is an object. So what is WRICEF? W for workflows and R for your reports and I for interfaces, C for conversions, E for enhancement, and F for smart forms or forms. We call it as a smart forms, or you can call it forms also. So these are the major objects which we are going to work. This is very important thing throughout your SAP FICO journey. For you to understand the WRICEF objects or to perform WRICEF objects, you need to have a thorough understanding or the complete configuration knowledge, which anybody call it as FICO course. The content you should be aware from enterprise structure to all the sub modules in FICO, like your other business processes knowledge, you should be aware. Then you should be able to perform this any enhancements or any customizations that you want to perform. This WRICEF objects will help you to make any customizations in SAP. This plays a very crucial role. If you are strong in WRICEF objects, you also have a lot of demand. Your profile will hold a lot of weightage. So we are going to understand WRICEF objects in detail. We will take multiple examples for each and every object and I will also give you some assignments on them where you can experiment and come back with your solution. So that I'm not going to force you to present your whatever you have completed your assignment. In case you are interested, I'm happy to extend my time and support you to review your assignment and provide you the feedback. Generally, I'll ask you, did you practice it? So if you say yes without practicing, you are cheating yourself. But decide whether you wanted to cheat yourself or whether you want to take advantage of it and learn more, right? So it's up to you. So make sure whenever there is an assignment, you put your effort and try to understand and come back with the questions wherever you struck. That's where I can help you. If you can't come back, I don't know where you are standing, right? So it's a wonderful opportunity for you to practice whatever the assignments that I'm giving it. It is going to be a real time project that you are working, you get that feeling. Whenever I give an assignment, the scenario what I had faced in my one of the previous projects or what my other colleagues or friends has faced it, I have gathered such questions, whatever the tickets they have solved, the same tickets I might assign you as an assignment as well. Think about it. What is the exposure that you get it when you solve it? In your interview also, you can explain the same thing, whatever you have done, and tell them this is what you have managed it. This is what you have handled it in your previous project. If you are able to give a good solution, then they are more happy. They don't even cross question you anything about that particular topic when they are asking. They will straight away jump to the next question feeling that you know or you have the required knowledge to manage this particular topic. Okay, that's the level we are going to cover in our upcoming sessions. The next thing, what you need to be aware generally, whenever you are in a support project, particularly, so or let's say that this RICEF objects can happen anywhere, either implementation project or it can be support project. Now let's understand all this, whatever I'm talking so far keeping in a mind implementation project. There are some more topics which will fall under implementation project, particularly like a cutover activities. What is cutover activities? Whenever you complete all the configuration that you're supposed to do, then you need to perform certain activities before you hand it over a system to your client for a production purposes. Once you complete your configuration, then next step is cutover activities. Only then it will go for a production. Between production activities and your uh, configuration activities, there is something called cutover activities, so which is a very much important. These are the major things part of your implementation project. We'll add few more, but may or may not be very frequently asked all the interviews, but good to know as well. But I'll list it down little later. But without miss anybody learning from anywhere SAP FICO, they should be thorough with these topics to say that I worked in end-to-end implementation. Is this the list? But there are some more like TR moments. They might ask you about TR moment process. What exactly you have done in TR moment? What do you mean by TR? What are the types of TR? So you need to explain about the transport request and what happens whenever there is a transport request created or whenever you are saving something, whether it creates a transport request or not. There will be a lot of tricky questions which you'll get it. So we are going to cover practically all those things. What are the things that you get it whenever you save? Which one will trigger transport request? Which will not trigger a transport request? And also which one is customized TR? Which one is a workbench TR? All you are going to learn about it. This is the first level which we need to understand as a part of our implementation project. Then most important thing we need to aware is like, let's say, okay, something called your data loads, data load techniques or tools. What are the tools that you have used for a data load? Whenever you are in a new implementation, think about it. The business is already using some other system. From there, they have a huge data which you need to load into your production system to perform any further activities. Without that, it is difficult for a business to manage or understand what exactly happened earlier. what is the action that I need to take now? For that, we need to load all the old data into my new system. All the old data, we call it as a legacy data. As a part of data load, you will understand some techniques like LSMW, using LSMW, which is legacy system migration workbench. What is a legacy system? Legacy system is whenever you hear the word called a legacy, relate that with a old, the word called old. Legacy system is a old system. What is old system? The previously, whatever the system that I was using before implementing SAP. So it might be Oracle, or it might be Tally, or it might be Excel based, or it can be paper based, whatever it may be. From legacy, I need to convert all the data into S4 HANA now, or load all the data into S4 now. So that's what we are going to do as a part of the data load. LSMW is one of the oldest technique started by SAP, and still it is there in both the systems, in ECC and S4 HANA system as well, but not widely used for all the things. In S4 HANA, there is an advanced technique which is called MYD, migrate your data, or you will also call that as migration cockpit. You can call with either of the names, either migration cockpit or MYD. So using MYD, you will be able to do all the functionalities that you can do from LSMW. Majority of them, I would say 99% of the tasks that you can perform from LSMW, you can perform using MYD as well. Very few things, maybe you can count them on fingers. Those can't be performed using MYD. They need to be strictly used through LSMW, or you need to use a different functionality to perform it. Without LSMW, still you can do it MYD plus some other functionality, you use it and complete the task. We will touch base, or we'll go through these both the techniques in detail. I'll make sure you can use both the techniques without any struggle. Okay, so that's what we are going to cover. So this is used generally in your new implementation project as well, and also in your migration projects, particularly in case you are somebody who get an opportunity to work in MDG teams. What is MDG? Master Data Governance. There is some team called MDG. Sorry, is there any question for somebody?
Sorry for interruption. Here in as for S4 HANA system for data load, no, there is another option also. Is there? Whether I am correct or not, it's LTMC. It is called is a part of MYD.
Yes, LTMC is also part of MYD, but only the fine difference between MYD and LTMC is we have S4 HANA multiple versions. The version, whatever you are using, 2022 onwards or 2020 onwards, particularly February 2020 onwards, MYD has been implemented. If MYD is there, you don't have LTMC. So any company that you are working, you might be using one of the technique, I mean, one of the versions, old version of S4 HANA or the latest version of S4 HANA. Irrespective of it, if you know MYD how to use it, LTMC is a very similar version of it, nothing different. Mostly the same thing. If you know MYD, you can easily manage with LTMC as well. So because I'm using 2023, the latest version SAP, and we don't have LTMC in that. In case I get a old version of it, I can show you that as well. Okay.
So you mean 2023 version? It is not there LTMC, correct?
LTMC you will not have. We have only directly
MID.
the upgraded version MYD.
Okay.
So we have LSMW and MYD both in the latest version, any version that you take it. If you take it, let's say 1909 version, which is 2019 September version, up to 2019 September version, we have LSMW and LTMC. There was no MYD, it has been introduced. It was introduced in 2020. From 2020 versions, you will see migrate your data. Prior to 2020, it was LTMC.
Okay, but if you want to use MYD in a 1990 version, old version, it will be available there? No?
Good question. To answer that, I'll simply ask you one question. You remember the keypad phone, the Nokia phones, earlier you were using it?
Correct.
If you want to use WhatsApp in that, what do you do?
Earlier phones, basic phones, we don't have WhatsApp there.
Exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. MYD also. MYD is an Android version, I would say, just to compare. LTMC is little upgraded to your keyboard, but not full-fledged Android version.
Okay.
If I
Thanks for
want to use
class.
UPI in keypad phone, I can't do it because that do not support it. The functionality has been given for the upgraded version. Similarly, from 2020 onwards, they have introduced it. It is not there prior to that. MYD. So LTMC is there since 2015 when they introduced SAP until 2019, the 4 years versions. Depending on the SAP version that you are using, you will understand which version to use. When we get into the system, I'll show you clearly. So which version you are in, you can check your system version. And based on that, you decide which technique is best suited for that.
Yep.
You will get to know the moment you log into the system and try to use the transaction codes, whether it is exist or not, it will tell you. It might tell you this transaction code does not exist, which means that version do not support that. Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
So this is about the data load techniques that we use it. So as a part of this, what we will do, we will understand multiple techniques. I will again take multiple business scenarios here, and I'll explain in a class both the things, LSMW and MYD, and I'll also ask you guys to practice on them with a real-time scenarios for you to practice it. Let's say that one of my client asked me to load data. They will not ask me use LSMW or MYD. They will directly ask me, I missed this data to be uploaded. Can you please upload into the system? That's all they will tell you. Or they will tell you, my users are trying to upload. They are not able to do it. Can you please help them? That's it. That's the question they get it. So what you guys also can do it, find out your partners who are working as an end user and ask them what kind of challenges they get it, right? If you get that opportunity and try to solve their problems. That is where, as a consultant, you are solving their problems. It starts with that first step for you to solve all those problems. Okay. For sure, these are the things you need to be aware. In your resume also, make sure these points are there whenever you say you worked on an implementation project. If you mention these points, not raw points as it is, you need to little modify later. We'll discuss about resume preparation towards little later. Then if you have these points, including your ATS system also cannot reject your profile. If they have a requirement for implementation project, your profile has some keywords from these points, particularly these 7 points, I can assure you your profile is shortlisted for the further round. I'm not guaranteeing you the job. At least it will shortlist to the next round. So you need to have, as a part of implementation project, a thorough understanding of these points, not only the points on your resume. So that is what we are going to enhance our knowledge during our training sessions. So for sure, this will be the things for implementation. Whenever you're done with the implementation, now you are moving into a support project, for example. Whenever you are in a support project, which is like a long term for any company. So support project lasts until they are using this product. Let's say that you are using your car. Purchase is only one time that you do it. Customizations you do only for a one time, right? So every day you don't go for a customization in your car. Whenever you are purchasing, you do all the alterations that you need. You wanted to add extra seat covers, extra lightings, or extra music system, extra cameras, or whatever the customizations that you want, you will do in first 1 or 2 months. After that, you start using that. You don't spend too much of money and time on customizing every day, right? Maybe rarely you do it. Maybe after 1 year or 2 years, you do a small changes or something is not liking you. Maybe you replace that with something new technology or a something upgraded version of it. Similarly happens in S4 HANA as well, or SAP as well, or anything for that matter in this world, right? So people would spend more money or more time later to get services. Any product that you use, you look for a service, right? Similarly, SAP is also a product which require continuous support, where every business user using every day, they will be facing one or the other challenge every day. They will contact SAP consultants in the form of tickets. They raise a ticket whenever they come across any questions. Now, that is where it comes about ticketing tools. Your support project starts with the ticketing tools, how you receive a ticket, what is the SLA for those tickets, how much time you used to spend, what is the methodology you use to solve this problem, what is the approach you follow, they might ask you. So what is the technique that you used? Or they might ask you, can you tell me one critical ticket that you solved during your journey? Or they might ask you particularly, can you tell me one ticket that you solved in AP process? Or can you tell me one critical ticket that you solved in fixed asset area? What was the problem and how did you approach it? How did you solve that? What was the root cause you found it? Then what did you do to fix it permanently? Did you provide a permanent solution not to occur that again and again? Or did you provide a temporary solution? So if that problem was there for a 1 month, was there any business impact? For that, how did you manage it? I mean, did you provide any alternative solution temporarily? They might try to understand your overall knowledge about support project, how much deep you worked, whether you really worked or not, whether if I provide you that opportunity to work in a support project, can you manage it or not? This is the level of knowledge they will test it with few questions. The way you are answering, that will literally will tell them where you are standing. Whatever you do it, whatever mug up you do, they can easily figure it out where you are standing at. They will cross question 2 to 3 questions in the same question. Then easily they will get to know the way you are answering it. Okay. So here we are going to understand all those challenges. Practically, we are going to solve some tickets. I'm going to solve at least more than 10 tickets, the overall our course, or more than 30, 40 also. But we will see a simple tickets to the critical tickets. Any interview, they will also appreciate if they hear explanation how you are explaining about it. So we will understand all those things in our upcoming sessions, how to tackle a support tickets. We are going to learn by concept, not just by heart. Okay. So whenever you hear about ticketing tools, like I mentioned, there will be a multiple cross questions you can expect. After that, they might ask you some critical tickets and everything. Then comes a picture, particularly, let's say month-end activities, particularly, or you say any period-end activities, particularly month-end activities. Month-end activities is something in any support project you will be going through. What do you mean by month end? Anybody can just give me 1 or 2 lines answer in your regular understanding, whatever you have seen. If whenever we talk about month end, what comes to your mind? Anybody worked in a finance departments? Any sort of finance department you worked, you would understand what is a month end activity. What comes to your mind? I need at least a small answer from you just to make it interactive session.
Month-end activity is nothing but every month we have to do some performance in wise like it's for example in it's a open close periods we have to extend for every period.
Okay.
And also we have to do depreciation run every month.
Okay.
Along with there are few are there.
Good. Thanks, Mahesh. Thanks for explaining. Why I'm asking this question particularly, it's not that I can't answer. I want you to be aware the practical challenges whenever you face any interview. You, in your resume, it is a very common thing that we update. I worked on a month-end and year-end activities. That is where it comes a question for you. Wow, well, you worked on month-end activities. Can you explain me a few activities that you worked? Candidate goes blank. He don't have any answer there. Now that triggers an interviewer whether you really worked on a month-end activities or not. Second question he will ask you, can you tell me one critical ticket that you solved during month-end activities? Candidate goes again blank. Good. 2 questions you are not able to answer. Excuse me. That is a very much evident that this candidate never worked on a support project at all. Now it comes another question. At least does he knows about ticketing tools or not? People are trying to get to the jobs by one or the other means, but without having proper knowledge. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So whenever your resume says month-end activities, you should be aware what are month-end activities? Our end user performs it. And what is the responsibility of FICO consultant as a part of this month-end activities. You are not going to perform all this manually. There is business users they perform, but what is your role there in a month-end activities? That is a critical for us to understand. You need to have that fine difference between what is my business user, which you call it as an end user. I will use interchangeably this word, business user or end user. You can call anything. Whenever we say business, that is your client side, the business. And when we say business user, they are your clients. It can be end user. They might be a data entry person, or it can be CEO also from them. That's the end user. They are the end user of the product. That's the reason we call it as end users. Okay. We are technical people who are helping them to configure their system. So now, if you don't know the difference between what end user is doing, what consultant supposed to do, then they will understand whether how much time you spent. You are saying that you worked for 2 years in a support project. In 2 years, how many months has rolled out? 24 months. In 24 months, have you never come across at least one critical scenario? Have you never faced any issue at all 24 months? Then what was your role in a support project in a month-end activities? You are trying to understand what I'm trying to say? This is what we need to be aware. Practically, we need to have that knowledge. What are my month-end activities? What should I do? There is something called firefighter access ID. We use it whenever it is required. We'll talk about that later anyway. So it might be confusing if I talk, or with a limited time, we may not cover up everything. Let's see that. The month-end activities is something which you will understand in our upcoming sessions. After month-end activities, something called year-end activities. So if you say that you worked 2 years in a support project, right? You also might have gone through these activities at least once. In 2 years, at least one year-end has been covered. You might joined February 2025 or 2024 February. 2024 December, certainly you had gone through these activities for no doubt, right? And 2025 October or November, you might have left this organization. But still, it's close to 2 years of time frame, which is like a 20 or a 22 months. But still, you had gone through at least one year end. You should be able to explain at least few things in year end as well, right? So that is where people will go wrong by not able to explain certain things whenever interviewer asks for something. So make sure we are able to answer this kind of things, right? So month end and year end activities and some support tickets. That is where other support tickets comes into picture. They will try to understand what is your knowledge on support tickets. And as a part of this, then there is a more topics comes into picture, which is APP, which is automatic payment program, without which your interviewer again will not end. Majorly, you will find some one or the other question in this topic as well. And after that, some questions also arise from your dunning areas. And another thing is like validations and substitutions. Validation and substitutions is something we'll talk in detail in upcoming sessions, which is a very important and interesting topic, how it works. And there are some standard validations available in SAP, and to bypass them or to suit a business requirement, what kind of validations we can write, how to write, we will do that as well. And then most importantly, you might come across this kind of questions as well. Activation or deactivation of open item management. So there is something called in your GL account. Anybody come across in your GL account as a open items? Whenever you run any report of your FBL1N, FBL3N, FBL5N, you might come across open items, cleared items, all items option. There is something called in a GL account while creating, you will see open item management. Anybody seen the open items, how it looks like? What do you mean by open items? Open items, we will see. If you don't have any idea, don't worry. But in our upcoming class, yeah, Mahesh, if you wanted to add something. Go ahead.
Yes, we've seen in GL master data level under controls tab, we see that is in open item management is
Correct.
option is there.
Whenever those understand about this point, I'll just add only one liner here. Later we can discuss in detail. While creating a GL account, I missed to select open item management. My users has posted some transactions. Now I wanted to enable open item management. When you try to do that, system will not allow it. It will throw an error because that's a standard functionality. System will not allow you. That is not supposed to be allowed. There is a reason behind it. Why we are not supposed to allow. Vice versa, also it will not allow. It was enabled earlier. Your end users posted a lot of transactions, or at least one transaction they posted, and they realize now this account's not supposed to be enabled as open item management. I wanted to deactivate now. They'll go to FS00, control data tab, and try to uncheck that. It will not happen. It will throw an error. That is where they will raise a ticket. It comes to you for FICO consultant. As a consultant, you need to analyze the situation and see how do you make this happen? Is this possible to activate and deactivate even after posting some transactions? Yes. How do we do that? We'll understand that in detail. Yeah.
Yes, we
Then,
have. There is a possible we can move there is a transaction code open item.
correct. We'll understand in detail about that, how to do that as well. Okay. Then comes the another thing, particularly whenever you are working on it. So most important thing, types of ledgers. There are some types of ledgers. So like leading ledger, non-leading ledger, representative ledger. What is the importance of those ledgers? How to use it? How to configure them? So how to troubleshoot whenever there is some problem? Whenever business users has some particular requirement with these ledgers, how to work on them? We'll understand that. And whenever you talk about ledgers, there will be a requirement for BRS as well. So anybody worked on a bank records? So we call it as, there are two things. One is EBS, electronic bank statements, and another one is MBS, manual bank reconciliation, or you call it as MBRS, manual bank reconciliation, or EBRS. So we will look into the reconciliations, how to do the reconciliations. So there are some techniques which we need to use as a part of these reconciliations, whatever we do it. And beyond that, what you need to understand is, I think cutover we already covered. And next thing we have it, particularly whenever you jump to a bit of controlling related, that is where it starts with your internal orders. You need to understand something about internal orders and your cost centers and cost elements. You need to have thorough understanding of what is my cost center, what is my cost elements all about. And you also need to have some understanding about assessment and distributions. So how do you do assessment and distributions? What is the advantage? What is the major difference between these two? You need to have that thorough understanding. And something about COPA and what do you say? And product costing particularly. COPA and product costing. We should have at least some basic knowledge, though you are focusing more on FI. So you should have CO knowledge as well. Those who possess good understanding of CO will have good weightage on their profile. It's not simply that you know only FI or only AP, only AR. You can't say that. You need to have a more cross-module knowledge. The more you have it, the more weightage you get it. The more preference will be given for your profile. So that's the reason we are going to cover COPA and product costing as well. And we'll touch base a bit on taxation as well. Though taxation is a huge thing, we may not require a deep knowledge about it. There will be a dedicated people who will be working on all the tax related thing. But we need to know at least some basic things about taxation, where we will touch base on a taxation related. Then we will also touch base on your asset accounting, including your AUCs, which is asset under construction. If you have a minimum knowledge on these two at least, what is asset accounting? So how to handle with asset accounting, the basic things, how to create asset, what is asset class, what is depreciation area, and how to run depreciations. If there is any small challenges in asset accounting, we'll be able to solve some tickets with the help of senior or on your own. So they will try to test this knowledge. These are the basic topics which we are going to cover along with our basic configuration, whatever we talk in regularly. So generally, whenever you talk about configuration, it starts with your enterprise structure, like your organization structure, company code, all your chart of accounts, GL account creation, and then you will create your business partners and post some transactions to it, run some reports. So this is the basic thing that you see in your basic configuration. If you extend that to your AR, maybe you create some more business partner customers, then you post some sales transactions, you create billing, collect the revenue and apply that cash and perform some reconciliations. This is anyway by default covered in our training. So beyond that, these are the things we are going to cover in our upcoming sessions in our training. So let's understand in detail. So each and every topic in upcoming sessions, how to handle it, how to deal with them. Okay. These are the most important topics without which we can't say that or we know I know SAP or I learned FICO. Nobody would appreciate if you say that you know FICO without having good understanding of all these topics. We are going to learn all these topics along with our regular course content, whatever we are going to cover. So now, does this gives you some idea about what are the things you are going to learn as a part of our training? Now, maybe
Will,
yeah,
sorry
go
for
on.
interruption. Will you cover an DME?
DMEs, yes, we'll cover DMEs also whenever we talk about APP program. So maybe there we'll touch base about DME structure as well.
And also basic how the people will, I mean, how will schedule the jobs running and schedule and release these things, and also will be explained here.
Yes, yes, these are all basic things. All those basic things will be covered by default.
Okay. IDocs also, including within IDocs also here.
Yeah, we touch base on IDocs. Yeah, we may not go in deep about IDocs, but we'll touch base on IDocs and BAPIs and BADIs.
Yes.
Yeah. Whatever the, at least the basic knowledge required for us, along with other topics, we'll touch base all those topics to give you at least some idea so that next time whenever there is an opportunity and with a little help from a senior or online content, you should be able to proceed or it's not going to be a surprise for you. You are hearing for the first time. So such a way we'll cover all such topics.
Okay. Then, as you said, it is all the modules like SDMM asset and accounts payable is withholding tax and accounts receivable it is GST. These are all will also cover as yeah.
Taxation portion, yes, we'll cover whenever we create certain purchase orders and other taxation related transactions. Whenever we are entering some transactions with and without tax, yes, we'll go through them as well.
So, will we go through as a configuration level for each topic wise, and then we'll post same way as we are expecting, same way, correct?
Okay, what I'll do is just to give you a little more idea about it. So now let's say that first what we will start as a part of our course journey, it begins something like this. First, what we will do, we'll start with a business requirement. First, we'll understand what is my business requirement. Then we'll understand what is the configuration required for this. Then after configuration, we'll look into a master data. What is the master data required? Then we'll look into a transactional data. What are the transactional data that we need to enter? From there, we'll go with our reports. So that way, it will give you majority of the cycle of any business, what they are looking for, it will be covered. So then we'll look into some issues or tickets for that particular scenarios. What kind of things that you can expect? It will cover in a logical manner. So you start with, let's say, we'll have one class of business requirement gathering discussion. We'll list it out all the requirements. Then we'll prepare our KDS document based on our business requirement. And we will also prepare pre-requirements. And from there, we'll start our configuration. Then we'll move to the master data. We'll create some master data wherever it is required. So minimal master data will create. We don't spend too much of time on creating thousands of vendors, thousands of GL accounts. As and when there is required, we'll create a couple of GL accounts, couple of vendors, and we'll continue. I don't want to waste our time spending too much time on creating the same thing. You can do that as a practice, no harm in that. But in our class, I'll show you at least one or two until you get that confidentiality to create it. I mean, you will be comfortable to create. Confidently, you can create it so that we can proceed with the further topics. And similarly, we'll post some transactions with or without taxes, and we'll run various reports, whatever is required in that, and see. And we'll see some common issues that you will face it. And I'll give you the logics, how to start looking into this problem, how to investigate the problem, how to find a root cause for it, how to document that for a further reference. All this will cover. During this journey, there is a lot of documentation requirement as well. Don't forget about it. So where we need to prepare a lot of documentation, but I'll show you how to start preparing, including a test script. You need to prepare some test scripts. What are the test scripts that you need to prepare to test your configuration, whatever you have done, whether all your configuration is working fine or not. You need to test it thoroughly. How do you perform testing? How do you execute test cases? Do you write your own test case, or do you use a standard test cases provided by SAP? All this will understand it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
So does this help maybe those who already attended elsewhere or have some idea about the course?
Yes, yes. Yes, it will help.
This is a format which I'm going to follow. Okay. And after that, what we can do is we'll look into various requirements like all types of testings. So we'll look into various testings, including your unit testing, integration testing, and UATs. All this will do it. We'll perform various testings, and I'll also ask you to perform various testings to get at least some comfortability, and you should be able to lead this kind of testings whenever you join any testing project. Easily you can manage it. That should not become surprise for you. There are many people who claim they completed the course. They also worked for 3 to 4 years. We don't know whether they worked it or not, but they need some job. So they prepared a resume and they are joining. When they join, I had seen people, so they don't know what is integration testing. When I be asked, please complete this integration testing, so they are blank, right? So it happens. In our training here, let's build that all the knowledge that is required. And any project that you join, people should not make out that you don't know anything or you are completely a fresher, you just completed a course. They should not have this kind of feeling. They should feel happy. Okay, this guy knows, this guy can manage it. Oh, this guy is really doing well. He can manage it better than other existing employees. So that's the feeling you have to give them. So that's my overall thought to provide you this training.
Thank you, sir. Even same, I am also feeling in the same situation here. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Yeah, okay. Anything else that anybody wanted to know more about this course in case I haven't covered? Maybe I'm not a guy who goes with a formal content and say that this topic we completed, but I'll go more of practical oriented because I had seen challenges, and rather than on a content based, I go with a flow and see what is the practical things that we supposed to know. Wherever you feel that we are not covering something, feel free to bring them. We'll keep it in our list. Certainly, we'll cover them in later classes. Okay. Anybody joining for the first time? Maybe those who didn't join earlier, I mean, yesterday or last week, whatever we discussed about it, so that you guys ask me any questions, whatever I covered yesterday. I actually connected with a different device today. So whatever we discussed yesterday that is in a different device, I was not able to transfer it due to some other reasons. But anyway, I can cover it up if you guys need it. Or if you guys are coming from any different institute, ask for that recording. They can also share with you, I think. So you can ask for it and see that. Okay. Any other questions or anybody wanted to know more? Feel free to ask any questions. I'm okay with that. All right. What we will do, in case you don't have any questions in further upcoming classes, so you talk to your respective uh, partners from where you are coming from, which institute you are coming from, to arrange your access related, how you negotiate with them. That's up to you, whatever you have connection with them. So make sure you get a proper access for S4 HANA system for you to practice, right? If you are coming from my direct contact, talk to me later. So those are coming from my institutes, talk to your institutes and ask for your access related, how you are going to arrange for an access, right? What we will do, we'll start with our introduction classes. Maybe first a few classes, if you don't have S4 HANA access, also still manageable. So don't worry about it. Later, you can manage in next 3 to 4 classes. Only then will actually require your S4 HANA to practice. Before that, we'll talk more about the other concepts which you're supposed to know even before you get into the system. There is a lot many things like your system landscape. What do you mean by that system landscape? How do you work on it? So let me see if I can bring that the system landscape and other information that I had. So I think let me see that. So I think that's in a different device and I'm not able to connect that device today for some reasons. Anyway, so we'll start with that system landscape and understand actual requirements and how anybody will work on this, right? So we'll have all that information so that you will be able to understand the flow and everything. That will take first few classes. So in the meantime, you can arrange for your access, right? The course duration will go up to 3 months. After that, also, you need to spend some more time yourself to give and understand all the concepts and practice well. Then you can prepare your resume. During your resume preparation, feel free to talk to me. I can help you to review your resumes and revise them. And you can, make multiple revisions and you can start appearing for interviews. Okay. So as a consultant, there are many other things which we supposed to be aware, then which we will talk eventually in regularly in our classes. You might also get a lot of questions, how to handle certain things. I'm going to help you how to behave with our colleagues, including your soft skills. I'm going to help you. So which will really help you to shape up yourself as a successful consultant. Learning only configuration and you are trying to join any organization may not help you. I want you to learn complete configuration and also some other skills where you can easily manage with your clients, including client facing skills. You should have that. There are people who are working in organizations since long time. Still, they are not comfortable to talk to their clients. They are happy with what they are doing it and they are okay to stay in that position for long period. So that will not really give you a good growth, where if you wanted to grow yourself, you need to have that client facing skills as well. We'll talk about them as well wherever required. In case somebody feels that I'm not confident or I don't have proper communication skills, don't worry, reach out to me. I can help you with whatever I can help you to overcome all those challenges and you can build a solid skills which can help you to talk to your clients. Okay. All right. I think,
As
yeah.
for that one, and
Let
like what you suggest for like who is not aware of the FICO, like they belongs to the other technical things and not into the SAP FICO. Like, will it can be make it or like how things will go?
Okay, if I understand your question, Varsha, you are saying that let's say you don't have any technical knowledge. This is the first time that you are start learning FICO. Will I be able to
Yes,
learn it?
yes,
What kind of challenges I would expect? Okay.
yeah.
I don't remember, sorry to ask you. Yesterday, were you there in my class?
Yes, I was there.
Okay. Just to recollect the same thing again. So anybody who is starting their FICO course, mandatorily you should uh, uh, what you need to do is you need to uh, answer yourself, am I from finance and accounting academic background, or did I work in finance and accounting departments as an end user at least? If your answer is yes to any one of these questions, you are good to start right away. Or if you are not from, if your answer is no for both the questions, and you say that you never worked in finance and accounting, and let's say you don't have a finance background, I'm coming from completely other than finance and accounting background, can I still learn it? Yes, only condition is you should be able to spend some time to understand the basic concepts. You should know what do you mean by balance sheet. You should be able to read the balance sheet and understand the item in balance sheet and income statement, what they mean exactly. If you see net profit, what do you mean by net profit? You should know the difference between net profit and gross profit. Those who knows already and can easily learn these kind of things, I already have some idea. If I go through some content, I can easily understand, then no doubt you can easily manage it. Then only you can start this course. Otherwise, if that is something not your interest, accounting is not my area where I don't want to learn it, I want to learn only FICO, I won't suggest for such people to learn FICO. Rather, you can go with a different module. You think about it before you take a decision for anybody, right? So if you don't have accounting background or together, either academic or a working experience, if you are not a finance person, make sure you become a finance person now. If you're not a finance person, or you don't want to become a finance person, my strong suggestion will be think about other functional module in SAP. If your goal is to become SAP consultants, or maybe look for some technical modules like ABAP or a basis if you are good in them. Or somebody who is not good in again technical or not even a finance, then maybe you need to question yourself, why do I want to get into SAP first of all? Any personalized suggestions or any other challenges you have it, feel free to connect with me. So later, so in case you wanted to, so I can drop my number here. Maybe you guys can connect with me in case you have any personal suggestion required, particularly to take a decision whether to join FICO or to join some other course. With my knowledge, whatever I know, maybe I'll provide you that mentoring support. Finally, you decide whether that is a right choice or not. Don't blame me later. I told you to take this. I'll just provide you suggestion. What can suit to your long-term career goals based on your current interest and strengths. I would look for your strength, academic background, then your long-term goals. These are the three things I'll consider before I suggest you anything. You can also do that. Think about these things and see if you can decide what is best for you. It can be any course, right? Not only this. Anything that you are doing in your life, think about these three things first. Do I have some background about it previously? Or do I have some current interest on it? With my current strengths, will I be able to manage it? Or will I be successful in that or not? Make that decision. Then you take that, the further decision. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. I think anyone else has Chanakya or somebody trying to ask some question.
Yeah, hi.
Yeah.
Your name Narasimha Reddy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, nice to meet you. Actually, I joined it randomly by looking at the group.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, yesterday I did not join. Just thought of, currently I'm in dilemma to go on any course.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday I could not join.
Okay.
Actually, I have 8 years of experience in different
Mhm.
fields like SAP end user, Hyperion consultant, and
Okay.
ETL testing, test data management, all these things.
Okay.
But currently, I have a gap,
Okay.
like 2.5 years.
Okay.
And I'm thinking which course I have to. I have to restart the IT career, but I have to decide which course I need to choose. So I thought of joining. I mean, attend this webinar.
Okay.
But what happened yesterday? I don't have idea. So is it possible for you to give me any brief idea
Are
about
you from
yesterday?
SAG Technologies? Are you coming from SAG?
No, no, no. Nandini Software Solutions.
Nandini. Okay. So what
No,
we will
current.
do, we'll share that yesterday's recording as well with Nandini Software Solutions. Maybe you can
Mm,
collect that video from them and go through that. So just to give
mm,
you the brief idea about yesterday, we spoke about who can learn this course particularly. What is actually required for anybody to learn SAP
mm,
FICO? These things we covered yesterday. If you go through that, that will also give you some idea whether it is a right choice for you or not. Even after that, if you feel
mm,
that you are not able to make out anything, maybe you can reach out to me on this number, right? Or you can
mm.
ask your learning partner to connect with me. They can connect with me. So we can talk in detail in personally to see and analyze your previous experience, previous academic background, and your goals and everything.
Mm.
Then we'll help you with that suggestion, whether it's a right choice for you or not.
Yeah, yeah. Here
No,
you
I'm a
have mentioned
trainer with a
testing.
good experience. I don't want to just attract the candidates and make money. That is not my goal. Money, I can make it
Yeah,
slowly later, but my goal is to help anybody who is looking for a career. Career is something nobody should regret later. I have taken a wrong choice for any reason. I know the value of that wrong choices, what happens when you take it.
yeah, correct, correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have mentioned the testings, right? Here you will be covering SDLC cycle and STLC cycle, how it happens.
We may not go a deep about the technical aspect of SDLC, but we will see
Mhm,
what is required as a FICO consultant for you to test it. Maybe whatever you have already done ETL testing, if you know the
mm,
testing methodologies, you
mm.
on top of
That
that
will
you
be helpful.
need functional knowledge of it, the application knowledge of it.
Okay.
So mix of both the functional knowledge of
Mm,
SAP, the application knowledge, then the ETL, whatever you have done, is going to be a strong skill set for you to work in SAP environment. There are people in my teams, what I had seen in previous teams also, those never worked in SAP. This is for the first time they are working, but they comes from testing experience. They worked in
okay.
web testing and Android testing and other application testing, and they are
Mm,
able to manage it if it
okay.
is a
Yeah,
purely a testing project.
in my career beginning days, I worked as an end user, SAP
Okay.
end user
I
in
think then
accounts.
you have some knowledge at least, which
And
gives you a
yeah,
comfortability to pick
also,
faster.
yeah, yeah. And also I have worked in Hyperion
Hmm.
EPM system,
Okay. Okay.
Hyperion Financial Management.
Right. Right.
So it is an EPM system.
Right. Enterprise
So
performance management.
after looking at your curriculum, I'm able to recollect all those things. Really, really, thanks to you, you made me recollect all my beginning
Hmm.
days
Okay. Okay.
working in SAP.
Yeah, I think
It
any
was really
technology that
thanks.
we are learning, more or less, they will cross again, but slightly the changes is what we need
Yes,
to be
yes.
aware. Maybe technology remains same, the methodology remains same.
Mm,
Only thing is the application is slightly different. That's it. Might be today's SAP application. Earlier you worked in a different application, but still
yeah.
SDLC is SDLC wherever you go. We don't deviate SDLC. But for a FICO
Very well.
consultant, they may not require a deep knowledge of SDLC. At a high level, if they know, that's more than enough.
Mm,
I would say you are already master in SDLC. For SAP FICO, you need only 20% of that knowledge, which is more
okay.
than enough. You already remember that and you can easily
Yeah,
apply them.
yeah. Okay. Okay. So as a developer, what are all the important things to test? That is covered. That will be covered in the
Correct,
course.
correct. That's more than it. Because if
Okay.
I want to go in detail, that will become another course, which is unnecessarily you need to
Yeah.
spend additional extra 1 or 2 months,
Yeah.
which is not worth for it. That's the only reason. And rigorously, we don't use all that here as well.
Okay.
Our goal is to
Okay.
focus more on FICO related, not to with deviate any other extra skill sets. Whatever required, I'll make sure you will get that. Easily, you can manage any project,
My
either
doubt
testing
is,
project. Mhm.
I have 8 years experience now.
Okay.
So if I take up this course, will I be able to cope up as a 8 years experience guy? That is what
Yes. You can easily. What you can do, I don't know, is that all 8 years in a same company, or do you have any split in that?
different.
Different. What is the last 5 years organizations that you worked? I mean, I don't want the names. Do you have one company or multiple companies? Just tell me the
Two
duration.
companies. Two companies. Last 5 years, two companies.
You have two companies, right? At least.
Mm.
So you have
Mm.
that different durations, which is sufficient. If it is
Mm.
all 8 years in one company, still you can manage it with a different technique. But if you have already split duration, which is directly easy for you, you are already there in IT side, which is a more
Mm.
advantage. Only thing now you need to make sure to cover up the gap. As usual,
Mm.
you need to figure it out how you want to cover that gap. That we can
Okay.
discuss later as well, in case you don't have an idea. If you already have a plan, that's okay. If you don't have, let's
If,
connect personally. We can talk about it.
okay, if we go with covering the gap, it will be more than 10 or 11 years. It will be. Then
Okay. I think
I
let's show
have
the
to
gap
focus.
as it is with our genuine reasons and
Actually,
see if
yeah,
you
that
can.
is what my another question. Is it okay if I just clearly show the gap and
Yes.
proceed
Yes.
with
No
the
harm. No
interview?
harm in it. No harm in it. There are a lot of opportunities. Though there is a gap, it is a very much genuine. People
Mm.
understand we require a break. It's not, we are not a robots to work all 50, 60 years. We need certain
Yeah.
break for to manage personal life as well. Everybody will go through some challenges. It can be
Okay.
health problems, or it can be other challenges in the family, or it can be any other reasons. Reasons from person to person differ. People has to accept. Some companies may not prefer the gaps for some reasons. There are many companies who don't mind about the gaps.
Yeah. Okay.
I had seen many people in my teams, previous teams and current teams, who joined with the gaps. My management accepted, and this
Okay.
happened in a multiple MNCs, top MNCs, I would say. Not to worry about the
One,
gaps.
yeah. Okay. One last question.
Yeah.
I have idea on Python, SQL, and this ETL, all those things. So,
Mhm.
is there any? I mean, will it be helpful here? So there is no use.
For
Any chance of?
FICO, they don't help directly, but
Mm.
having this knowledge, my understanding, you can easily learn ABAP as well, where you develop a
Mhm.
little bit of ABAP knowledge, which will make you a techno-functional consultant, which is like a technical and
Oh,
also functional consultant, which is a high demand in the industry. Those who knows the technical knowledge along with the functional knowledge, they will easily pick.
mhm.
So, which you can turn your drawback of your gaps into a positive by developing both the skills. Become a techno
Okay.
functional, nobody will worry about your gap.
Okay. So ABAP includes automations like that, where we can use Python and
No, no, no,
SQL.
no. They simply
Oh,
will help you as a basics. You already know Python and SQL to serve
mm.
you just to kickstart your ABAP. ABAP is a kind of a coding
Okay.
where you require a coding
Okay.
language. You already touched some coding in Python and Java and whatever you learned it, which will make you easy to start. That's it.
Okay. Understood. Yeah.
They are different,
Okay.
but yeah, you can understand ABAP easily with a previous knowledge of Python and others.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all from my side.
Right.
Really, thanks.
FICO
I
with
thought of
ABAP,
not.
there are a
Yeah.
very few people. I would say less than 10% in the industry, people knows about both. So it will be high demand for a people who knows about it, because whenever there is a troubleshooting required in FICO, it will be done by only principal consultant. You understand, principal consultant is at 10 plus years of experience in SAP,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
genuinely who worked. Only then the people has that knowledge to dig into the system and see in the back end where a bug happening. Now you as a techno-functional consultant will be able to do, even though you are a fresher, if you develop that ABAP skill set. Okay, that you
So you
can
will be
learn it.
covering, you are going to cover only FICO, right? FICO.
Pico, I may not be a right person for ABAP because I'm
No.
not expert in that. So let me admit whatever I know.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so
Yeah,
much. Yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you so
right.
much.
No
Only
problem,
I thought
Jack.
of
Yeah.
speaking,
Mhm.
but because you asked me, I thought of take a chance.
Sure, sure. No problem.
Thank you so much. Really,
Yeah,
really happy to
you're
speak with
welcome.
you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Anyone else has any other questions about the plans for a career, or still have any questions about the course format, or any questions? Feel free to shoot out. Yeah, Jivan.
Bro, hello.
Yep.
SAP connect with database or cloud database?
It has a
Database cloud.
multiple versions. The SAP ECC version, they were using a database, which is a third-party database. S4 HANA, whenever you heard about S4 HANA, HANA is SAP's own database server. So if you are using SAP on-premises version that require dedicated database, which is a HANA database. If you are in a cloud versions, there is a SAP Cloud, Rise with SAP. You might have heard about it. So Grow with SAP, Rise with SAP. These are all cloud versions where they will have their cloud storage dedicatedly. Database wise, we no need to worry much about it. As a FICO consultant, there is a dedicated consultants who will take care of all the database related. But that's okay if you wanted to know what is what at a high level, we can learn about it.
Okay.
Yep. Any questions from other participants? If you guys have it, feel free to leave your questions in the chat, or directly you can unmute and speak. Anything is okay.
For FICO, we need to be aware of this testing as well.
For a testing, if you knows, yes, that will make you, that will give you an extra advantage. We are going to cover in our course, the testing project also. We'll take up one testing project and explain you how to do that. For you to test, certainly you also need the functional knowledge of it, how to do the configuration, what happens if you do certain configuration, from where an error can happen. Particularly in a testing, if you are in a testing, you need to make sure how to test the system. Can a system break if I try this method? Those things you need to think about it. Not simply you perform something, somebody asks you to do it. So in a testing, we test such a way that can a system break? You do that regression in testing. Whenever you perform a regression, you need to perform positive and negative testings both. Then you will understand whether system is breaking or system is good.
Okay.
Yep. All right. Anything else? Yeah, go on,
If you
Manj.
don't mind, this list of topics sheet, can you share in that WhatsApp group?
Yeah, sure. I'll share it. Yeah. I'll share it. Yeah, after the class.
Okay, bro, you can create group once.
Yeah, maybe currently you follow with your learning partner, whatever they are following it. Once our regular batch starts, yes, I'll create that dedicated WhatsApp group. so that we can exchange all the information in that, including all the class notes, all other important materials, whatever you require, then we'll exchange it there.
In this course, are you going to cover ECC as well, or like only difference between this S4 HANA and ECC? It's like, are you going to give any kind of knowledge on ECC?
Yes, you will get a knowledge on ECC as well. All
So
right.
are we going to have the version as 23 version? Is this one latest version?
Yes, most probably you will get a 2023 version to practice.
Okay.
All my classes will happen on 23 version. So it depends on from where you are taking a server that you need to look for it, which server you need, whether you need a 23 or a 22. So talk to your partners and get it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
So still, I have a personal questions. I'll reach you, personal number. I'll
Sure,
let you
sure.
know.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. All right. Okay. If no further questions, I think if it is a good to conclude for the day, I think we'll call out a day. Then let me know, or you can reach out to your partners for any specific questions and ask them to connect with me so that they can connect with me through conference or any other manner to clarify any of your questions. Then we can continue couple more classes at free of cost. You don't worry about it. You attend few more free classes. Actual classes we start for free of cost, first few classes. Then you understand the structure and the pattern, how it is going. Only then you can take a decision whether it is a right platform for you to continue or not. Okay. So request your partners or learning partners to give you that opportunity to attend whatever the free classes available.
Sure. Sure. Thank you very much.
Yeah, that will help you to see and decide it. May or may
Yes.
not be
Yeah.
everybody look for a same style, right?
Yes.
My style may or may not suits to you. Some people might like, some people may not like. Let me say that, right? So that depends on person to person how they take it. So you can take the decision later. I don't want you to block your money and struggle and regret later.
Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. We'll go through, we'll
Yeah.
continue another few of the classes and we'll come back to you. No issue.
Yes,
We'll
yes.
let you know that one. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
that will be